Hi, I'm Pav.
And I'm Neil.
And welcome to the Top 10 of Anything podcast.
Let's start the countdown.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
A great sports movie has to have certain ingredients: a slice of hard luck, a pinch of disaster, a splosh of talent, and a good old dollop of an underdog story. The sports movie can have you on the edge of your seat and cheering in the aisles. Here's our own Adrieeeennne Loz with 10 sports movie facts.
In the film Dodgeball, Lance Armstrong was a late addition to the pre-production decisions. Stiller had recently read his book and asked the director, "Who's the most inspiring guy right now on the planet?" They both thought of Armstrong at the same time. They both probably think slightly differently now. Number 9, Stallone wrote the first draft of Rocky in 3.5 days. With a little bit of screenwriting experience and the idea for Rocky in his head for almost a year after witnessing a Muhammad Ali fight, Stallone, who had $106 in the bank at the time, spent about 84 hours using a pad and a pen to write the first draft of Rocky.
Sorry, I had to get that in there.
Number 8, Happy Gilmore was based on a real guy who was loosely based on a childhood friend of Adam Sandler. Number 7, William Zabka.
Hell, son, you're about as useful as a cock-flavored lollipop.
Sorry, I got all these bits I got to play in between. Sorry, Loz.
William Zabka had no karate experience prior to being cast in the film as the Karate Kid. However, he was an accomplished wrestler.
Cool. After giving me ball, here I do these, go.
In fact, checking the film Eddie the Eagle, I've learned that the real Eddie had significantly more jump experience than the film let on. The man who worked by day as a plasterer did have previous experience stunt jumping over cars and buses.
Oh, it is hard goddamn work being this good.
Number 5, I looked for the top 10 biggest grossing sports movies of all time, and no website will give me the same answer. This is largely based on the fact that what constitutes a sports movie doesn't appear to be widely agreed upon. After lots of research, the internet spat out The Karate Kid, Furious 7, Rocky and The Blind Side, but not one website would agree on the total monies made.
Just throw it at the ball, right? Trust me.
Field of Dreams was filmed in Iowa during the middle of a drought, which required the baseball field and iconic cornfields in the area to be heavily watered during the production. As a result, the crops grew at such a fast rate that it actually outgrew several of the shots. In at least one scene in the movie, Kevin Costner is walking on an elevated plank through the corn to account for the difference in height from the previous shot.
The one constant through all the years, Ray, has been baseball.
Perfect timing for that one. Carry on, Loz.
Cheerleader Darcy Sears' whipped cream bikini is permanently etched in the mind of pretty much everyone who's ever seen Varsity Blues. It turns out whipped cream doesn't hold its shape for very long, which is why shaving cream had to be used instead.
You, me, or nobody is going to hit as hard as life.
Mark Wahlberg was about as committed to his role of Mickey Ward in The Fighter as humanly possible. He began training in 2005 and kept it up until July 2009 when filming finally began.
In this lifetime, you don't have to prove nothing to nobody except yourself.
And finally, director Martin Scorsese has said that one of the main reasons black and white film was used in his filming of Raging Bull was to differentiate it from Rocky, which was released 4 years prior.
Look up, Brock. You're in the end zone.
Oh, thank you. Whew. This feels like it was the longest start we've ever had in a podcast.
I'm sorry.
No, that wasn't your fault. That wasn't your fault. That wasn't your fault. Welcome, everybody, to Top 10 Sports Movies. And as Loz actually mentioned in the introduction and stuff, it's quite hard to actually define what a sports movie is, which I found on my top 10, but we will get into that. Thank you, Loz. Welcome again, Loz, for stepping in for Neil. He's really going through it at the moment, but we'll get to that in a minute as well. Our guest, ladies and gentlemen, holds a record for our podcast as the fastest ever use of the C word, and that was on our Christmas movies top 10.
Yeah.
And we haven't quite got the trophy ready yet, but we will get it shipped to you. Ladies and gentlemen, Allie MacKay is with us. So welcome, Allie.
Hello. Thank you for having me. Especially after that like 1 minute in, drop of the C word on Christmas.
I mean, I wasn't expecting
Was it the word Christmas?
It was
No.
not that C word. And I can't remember what context Ali used it either, but it was such a...
I don't know. It was jarring to you guys, which was delightful to me.
So how are you, Ali? How are things in Maine?
I am doing great. It is a really chilly day here, but I went out for a nice walk first thing in the morning and realized that my earpods were not working. And I don't know if it was because it was so cold, but then I decided to take my gloves off and try and fix it. And I was like, it's 10 degrees. What are you doing with your gloves off? Chuck them. It's not going to work. So I've had a very cold start to the day, but this is lovely and I'm happy to be here.
Oh, well, it's wonderful to have you once again. The podcast is going great. It's I've said I've got my foil t-shirt on. I'm a signed up member. I'm going to try and get Loz to part with £5 a month or whatever
Come on, Loz, be a teabagger. Everybody should be a teabagger.
This is it. I'm sure there'll be things that will drop in through the podcast that Loz is going to go, I've got no idea what you're talking about, but it'll be little in things that all the teabaggers and the teabaggers did come through when it comes to the honourable mentions at the end. I have reams and reams of honourable mentions. Because you're with us, Ali. But the podcast is going well. It's going fun.
It's going still great. Fun. It's very fun. Bean, of course, moved from England to New Orleans. So that's where we're doing the show from. Well, that's where he's doing the show from. I'm in Maine, moved here from Los Angeles. So that is still weird. When I look out my window, I'm like, what is that cocaine? Oh, it's snow. Yeah, it's weird. So it's good. We have a fun time.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
And not to spoil anything for a future episode, but I think the next episode we have is top 10 podcasts, and I got a funny feeling that a cup of tea and a chat might feature in my top 10 somewhere.
Oh my gosh!
I am not going to.
What if you're like
anything.
Just on the outside? I was 11.
Just on the outside. I'm not going to spoil where it is in the top 10.
Okay.
But I think it may feature, so I'm just going to give you a little heads up on that. So how long has the podcast been going now? And just to let everybody know, it's a Patreon subscription podcast.
It is.
We'll put the link in the show notes so people can sign up. But
yes, if you don't know what Patreon is, it's essentially you sign up to listen to the podcast, but depending on what level you sign up at, you get different rewards. So whether it's just the 3 shows a week, great. You signed up for that. Wonderful. Or sometimes you get something fun like a phone call from us, or you get to do a crowdcast with us once a month, or you get behind the scenes video, or you get a video show, that type of thing. So it's fun and it's goofy and it's a lot of, everything from personal minutia that Bean and I are going through to dumb stories about dumb people, mostly Florida, for those of you listening now, wondering where those stories come from, usually Florida. It's just fun. A little bit of pop culture mixed in there and quizzes with listeners. And it's just, I love it. Have a good time.
How long have you been doing it, Ali?
We started in October of 2020.
Oh, in the year of the pandemic?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Isn't that so funny? I was like, when was the pandemic? Oh, wait, now. It started in October of that year, which is kind of right in the thick of it when everyone was kind of like, this is real. Like, we're really at home now. We're not going anywhere type of thing. So I was like, ooh, captive audience. Yeah. Let's do this. So
nobody had a good pandemic, did they? But you had a particularly bad pandemic because you got fired during a pandemic, didn't you?
At the start of the pandemic, I was fired over the phone at the start of the pandemic, which I thought that's not nice timing. No. So I was on a show called Kevin and Bean back in Los Angeles on a radio station called K-Rock. Bean had left the November prior to move back to England. He thought 30 years at a station is a nice round number. I'm going to leave. So Bean left. So it was Kevin on the show, me and a guy named Jensen. And we were just chugging along, doing our thing. And then the powers that be were like, we could make some money back if we got rid of these paychecks, and it's a pandemic. Maybe no one will notice. Well, when the guy that I do the show with has been there for 30 years and he's one of the greatest guys ever, people notice. So people were not pleased. They were up in arms, but I kind of just held my own for a while and just dealt with being in a global pandemic, and all the while harassing Bean. Don't you want to do a podcast? Wouldn't that be fun? You and me doing a podcast. And then he stopped taking my calls. And then finally his wife was like, you annoy me, Bean. Go talk to Allie for an hour a day, please. Just go. So God bless Donna Baxter.
Yeah, and you've built up a fantastic community as well, which I'm happy to say I'm part of it. I know so many, and we've got a lot of our American listeners are because of you guys, so we want to thank you for that, and a lot of our Patreon are the same as well. So
real special. That's the best thing to come out of this is the community of. By the way, they're called Teabaggers because it's a cup of tea and a chat is the name of the show. So they're called Teabaggers. God bless them, but it's the reason we keep doing the show. The community of people is just, it's a blessing all around.
Yeah, absolutely is. I will just say as well, I was very lucky to be involved in your 200th episode. I kind of produced it, the 200th. And as much as like Bean and yourself was saying, it's wonderful to listen to. Just the first 5 minutes is wonderful to listen to because Ali forgot to turn her microphone on, which was just gold.
It's just in a huge live episode that everybody's watching live. No big whoop. Yeah. I thought you were going to bring up that we had a different producer for episode 300.
Well, I was going to bring that up. I was going to say what an honor it was to do episode 200 because I'm not going to lie to you, Ali. I had no fucking clue what I was doing that day that I produced episode 200.
You did great.
I know I did great, but honestly, when things were going wrong, I was sat here pissing myself because I had no idea what to do. But I was sat at work.
Pissing yourself? You mean shitting yourself?
Well, pissing and shitting both at the same time. It was that bad.
It was a real mess.
It was a real mess. Took ages to get the stains out of the carpet. But I was sat at work listening to the episode and I was genuinely thinking, oh, episode 300 is going to be coming around soon. I wonder if I'm going to get a call. And then Ali and Bean start talking about episode 300 and talking about how they're going to do this and they're going to do that. And Ali says, maybe this isn't the way that Pav should find out that he's been fired. And Bean just...
I don't think I said fired, but...
I think, wow, whatever. And Bean just went, fuck him. and I will say, that particular day, I can remember because I was having a bad mental health day that day. And I was sat just... And that made me absolutely, I lost it. I lost it at work. I was crying, laughing.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
It was a typical
Bean. On pins and needles. I'm like,
No. It was a typical Bean thing to say.
Yeah, very.
And then after it all, I think the next time you talked about it, he said, "Oh, don't worry about Pav. He's killed himself." And I was there going, "Oh my God."
Did I just not say it's such a great community, so caring, we all look out for each other,
and like, and I know that's what Bean's like, so I love him for that, and it made me feel so much better. I must admit. Was that convincing?
I'm glad.
Was that convincing? Did I get?
Ish.
I don't know.
I thought you were going to say like, and then that that was the worst day of my life. I was like, oh, Pavo, you've kind of thought. Yeah, it's not the right vibe to be sharing.
And now you're top 10.
Yeah, I think I sent you like a voicemail, didn't I? Saying like I did my best acting, saying, oh, I've been thinking about ideas for episode 300, and I've spent loads of money on new equipment. To be fair though, Aaron, I think it was the guy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Did an amazing job.
Killer,
yeah. You can't go back to anything but that now for episode 400, honestly.
He's not returning our calls. So.
Oh, is he?
No.
Okay, right, let's get down to the business of the night. Top 10 sports movies. Both Ali and Loz, did you find it hard to sort your top 10 out? We'll start with you first, Ali.
I did, because just to be clear, these are our personal top 10, right?
Yeah.
Not the top 10 that are like on every list that everyone would have. So these are just super personal to me.
Absolutely.
And there were so many of them that I thought, oh, this could be on the list, but maybe not top 10. I probably changed it 10 times. I could do a top 30 list. And that's what I prepared. Coming in at number 30. No, totally kidding. Loz is like, I got to go to bed. We've got things to do.
What about you, Loz? Because from what I know of you, you're not a massive sports fan, are you?
So I've got to be honest with you, I really struggled with this genre because sports films aren't my go-to. So this isn't really a list of my top 10 sports movies. Instead, it's more of a list of top 10 sports films I think I might have watched in my life.
Right. Okay.
And even that's a stretch.
And maybe there's sports in it.
Yeah, there might be a little bit of sport in it.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's 4 on the list I've definitely seen more than once. So it's not quite as diabolical as you think, but some of them you might even go, that's not a sports film. What are you talking about? But we'll see. We'll see.
This is going to be great then. This will be like old Loz on the old radio show where we're explaining to her what Wonder Woman was and all that kind of stuff. This is great. Yeah. Okay, Ali, kick us off. Yeah, kick us off then with your number 10 sports movie.
Number 10 was one of my favorite movies growing up because I could relate to it on every level. It is Bad News Bears.
Bad News Bears. Someone on the honorable mentions actually mentions you and Bad News Bears on the honorable mentions. So
I love this movie so much. Walter Matthau was an ex-baseball player, now an alcoholic pool guy, and then he's recruited to coach a kids team, and they're not great. They're real bad. The Bad News Bears, really. And he gets them to the point where they're competitive and they're doing great and all this stuff. And then at the end was the real lesson that it's not about winning all the time. It's the friends you meet along the way. But it was my first real crush other than Fozzie Bear was on this baseball player guy, the bad boy that came in on this little like motorcycle, and his name was Kelly. And then I dated a guy named Kelly, and I was like, do I really like you, or do I just like that your name is Kelly? It's a whole little sidebar right there, but Bad News Bears, number 10 for me.
Did they ever remake that? Did they remake
a bunch? Yeah.
Oh, right. So it's not.
Yeah. Don't watch anything but the 1976. Bad News Bears. Yeah.
I'm sure I've seen this one because I'm a big Walter Matthau fan. I love sort of everything that he's done. But I don't think it's been... See, this is the thing that I think with the American side of this.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of films that I've seen in the honorable mentions. There's loads of films that I don't recognize the names of.
Yeah.
And
I thought that too. I'm like, I'm not going to have a cricket movie.
I don't even know if there is a cricket movie.
Okay.
Perfectly fair.
I was trying to think of a sport that's not big here. A rugby movie. I'm not going to have like a rugby movie, or even actually I could have a soccer movie. I'm just saying, I think there will be differences because of where we are.
Different types of sport.
I also think it might give us things to add to our list of things to watch that we've never seen before. So that's a great one to start with, though. Can't beat a bit of Walter Matthau. Loz, your number 10, please.
The Karate Kid.
Yes.
Okay. Are you going for the original Karate Kid?
Yes.
It's not a deposition, Loz. Yes. Where are you the night of?
Yes. Yes. Whatever you say will be taken down and given as evidence. Is it?
I didn't know there was 2.
Well, they did a remake with Will Smith's son and Jackie Chan.
But there was Karate Kid 2. There was Karate Kid 3. There's a ton.
Yeah.
TV show now.
Okay, and then obviously the TV series Cobra Kai, which they've done like 4 series of now, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So why is this in your top 10, Loz? Because you've seen it once?
Because I've seen it.
Okay.
I saw it and I remember liking it vaguely. I mean, when was it out? 80s? Must have been 80s. I was quite young. I was quite young when it was when it was on. So and I remember learning quite a lot about karate.
Yeah, wax on, wax off.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is that
Mr. Miyagi.
This film, you can meme it to death, right? And people still talk about those kinds of things and the kind of sentences that come out of that and the little kind of put downs and insults and funny bits that came out of that. People still use today, which is always a good mark of a good film.
Yeah. Yeah, and I must admit, I thought I'm not a big fan of Karate Kid, but I thought Cobra Kai was really good because they switched out the guy that's the sort of the bad guy in the movie ends up sort of being the hero. Well, spoilers of the TV show. So, Ali, you a fan? Have you never seen Cobra Kai?
I have. I am a fan of Karate Kid, and it came in for me at number 8.
Oh, okay.
And there's a reason for that. Not only because I loved it, but the main character, the main female character, is named Allie. And when she meets Daniel, she says Allie with an I. And I always wanted to say that, but I'm Allie with an IE, so it hurt. But they also filmed it near me. And the house that Allie lived in was in Encino. And I went to high school in the Valley in California. And we found the house, and I would run up the stairs like I was Allie going on a date with Daniel.
Really?
What a dork. What a complete dweeb. Yeah.
Oh dear. Names are a big thing for you though with movies, aren't they? And people that
right?
and people you go out with and stuff like that. Wow.
Wait till I meet a guy named Fozzie.
Oh God, I feel. Oh my God,
the best.
What? He's got some things coming to him, isn't he? I mean, I didn't mean it like that. That came out the wrong way. I didn't.
Wow, not wrong.
I didn't mean it like that. Anyway, my number 10 is Rocky 3. Now that's the one with Mr. T as Clubber Lang. That's the one. Spoilers where Mickey dies, and Rocky loses the eye of the tiger. And it's up to Apollo Creed to get the eye of the tiger back. I'm a sucker. The one thing about sports movies is always about redemption and being at your lowest and then coming back. And the one thing that Rocky movies, all of them do really well, is it's putting all those little scenes together of the training that it makes you want to come out of the theater and go straight into a gym and start doing what you see Sylvester Stallone doing. But it's also the fact that you know that he's gonna win at the end in pretty much every movie I think he does, apart from the first one. Spoilers. But it's just that fact that he's at his lowest ebb there, and it's his arch nemesis Apollo Creed that gets the eye of the tiger back, and then he defeats Clubber Lang at the end. And Mr. T's fantastic. He's such a good bad guy in that. Yeah, he's just absolutely fantastic. So I could have really put 4 of the 6 Rocky movies in my top 10, but I didn't. But Rocky 3 was the one that got in there. You girls fans of Rocky? Do you like Rocky at all? Ali? Oh, okay. All right.
I like when he runs up and he's like, yeah. That's about it.
That was uncanny.
I know.
Oh my God.
Don't think I was in Philly.
My answer as well. That's the only bit of Rocky really that stands out for me. And my husband and I went to Philadelphia back in 2018 when we both did that up the stairs where he's running up the stairs. And, you have to get that picture, don't you, in Philly?
You have to.
But that's really the only kind of connection I have with that film.
A lot of running upstairs so far in the show.
Oh, dear. Okay, well, that was my number 10. So, Ali, your number 9, please.
My number 9 is, if you grew up where I grew up in Southern California, this movie was on at every party you went to in the background in Malibu. It's a movie called The Endless Summer, and it's basically the best surfing documentary you'll ever see. And it really puts surfing on the map, because back when it came out, it was mostly, maybe you're in Australia, you're in the islands, you're in California, Hawaii, that type of thing. Those are the places where you knew people were surfing. But in this movie, they went to Senegal, to Ghana, all over the place. And I think it really opened people's eyes to a sport that they never really even thought about. So The Endless Summer.
Wow. 1965.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And you say it's a documentary, is it?
It's a documentary, and it's beautifully done. I think they shot it maybe over like 5 years.
Oh, wow.
Maybe they didn't. That might be another thing in my list. I don't know. It's surfing. It's great.
Is that the sort of thing that if you live in California that you've got to go and do? You've got to go and be a surfer?
Oh, yeah. You do.
Yeah?
Or you get kicked out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They check every year.
One of the things on your driving license. It's sort of like, it has to be
It's like, are you a donor? Have you surfed? Yeah.
So are you a good surfer?
No. Oh, no. Horrible.
No. When was the last time you surfed?
It's been over a decade, easily. Yeah.
Really? And is it like riding a bike? I mean, I've never surfed in my life. I've got no balance whatsoever, so it would be no point in me trying. But
there are basics that you have to know how to do. But yeah, it's timing, and it's picking the right wave, and it's,
Yeah. Okay. Right. But Loz, you've not surfed, but you used to do the thing on the board thing, didn't you? Whatever that's
paddleboard.
Paddleboarding. Yeah, we have a couple of paddle boards. It's not quite as sexy as the California coast. We go down the Stroud Canal. Yeah, nowhere near as sexy. I mean, I did live in Hawaii for a little bit, so I did do a bit of surfing, but I was rubbish. I was horrible, as they say.
It's not easy.
No, it's really, really difficult. It's a lot harder than it looks, that's for sure.
And it's all about balance, isn't it? It's got to be, and like I would assume core strength and stuff like that, because you've got to keep yourself upright and stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It put me off because the first time I did it, I face planted very hard and it really hurts.
No.
So yeah, it put me off doing it after that, to be honest with you.
Fair enough. Okay, Loz, you're number 9 then, please.
Cool Runnings.
Oh right, okay.
It's just a funny film, isn't it? And apparently the Jamaican slave bob team became quite friendly with the cast and crew and were, helping them out. And I know what else do I know about that film?
John Candy was in it.
John Candy, bless him, was in it. My brother once dressed up as a fancy dress as the Jamaican slave bob team, and there's a picture of him going down the stairs, which of course we've tried to remove from all social media accounts.
I was going to say that's probably not the right.
These days, you can't get away with that anymore. Like 15 years ago, 20 years ago, people thought it was hilarious, but nowadays they're like, shit, we really need to remove all evidence of it. I loved the film. It was very funny.
It was a massive hit, wasn't it? As well, it was. I don't know. Did it win Oscars, or am I thinking wrong about that?
It did win some awards. I'm not sure if it won an Oscar.
Right, but yeah, it was a massive hit. One of those sleeper hits that nobody thought it was going to be a big hit, and it became like a real big financial hit. No, that's a good one. Okay, we'll let you have that one. We'll gloss over the fancy dress on that one. We'll
I think it's best to. Yeah,
we'll move on. My number 9 is Kingpin, which is one of those sort of gross. It was the Farrelly brothers, I think it was, wasn't it? That did that. Bill Murray, Woody Harrelson. Oh God, what's his name? Quaid. Oh God. Randy Quaid. It's just a great, stupid movie with some absolute gross out moments. Yeah. But Bill Murray is fantastic in it. I absolutely love Bill Murray and Woody Harrelson.
Oh, he is amazing. I love Bill Murray too. Yeah.
I often quote that movie and I say, I'm on a gravy train with biscuit wheels. And people are like, what? And I'm like, oh, nothing. Just talking bowling. It's a great movie.
It's fantastic. I mean, look, it is a bowling movie, so I think it classes as a sports movie, but it's a comedy more than anything else.
Yeah,
a typical gross out comedy. But for me, I think it's the greatest bowling movie of all time.
More so than Big Lebowski?
Oh shit!
Shit! Oh, you didn't even think about it. You didn't even think about it.
Oh my God!
Yeah. Let's reconvene in a month.
Oh no, this podcast is going well. I cannot believe. And I think someone might have even put that in the honorable. Oh, what an absolute dick.
Wow.
Thank you, Ali. Thank you
You're
for
welcome.
that. I can't change it now. It's the second best. Second best bowling movie, but it's the top bowling movie in my top 10. Shit.
There you go.
Anyway, let's move on. Ali, your number 8 was The Karate Kid.
Yes, it was.
I can't believe I fucking missed The Big Lebowski. Loz, your number 8, please. Don't you dare say The Big Lebowski. If you say that, I'm just cutting this call off now.
The Big Lebowski.
No, it's not. It's not.
It is not.
Your number 8.
I promise.
No, you are fucking kidding me.
I'll send you a screenshot.
That's fantastic.
I honestly, I think I'm just going to host this week and not say the rest of my top 10. So is that seriously on that's your number 8?
I will take a screenshot right now.
No, I believe you. It's me that's fucked up. Nobody else. I cannot believe. Unbelievable. So why do you like The Big Lebowski?
Well, for all the reasons you just said. for your reaction alone. Oh, it's a great film, isn't it? It's, again, it's one of those films where it's stood the test of time. You can rewatch it and just, remember what you were doing when you first watched it. It's fantastic. It's a really, really feel-good film.
Ali, you a fan of The Big Lebowski?
I mean, it's my number 7.
Ah, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so sad. I'm sorry. You said that Kingpin was the number 1 bowling movie, and I had to just say it.
You have to.
Big Lebowski doesn't exist?
Yeah, it's very rare. And somebody like myself, who I class myself as a bit of a film nerd and a film geek, to forget one of the biggest... That movie was in my, honorable mentions for my greatest movies of all time that we did a couple of weeks ago.
I agree.
So how I forgot that it was a sport. I mean,
listen, we're busy. We've got a lot going on. Laws and I are not judging you. I mean, a little bit.
But it's the fact you both got it in your top 10, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
I'm massively judging you. I'm huge. You call yourself some sort of movie expert.
I will never ever call myself some kind of movie whatever anymore. I feel like I'm just absolutely gutted. Anyway. So Ali, why do you like The Big Lebowski?
It's a movie about so many different things, but there's also so many quote. If you go into someone's house and you see a rug and you don't say, really ties the room together, I don't know who you are. There are so many quotes from that movie. John Goodman is just a gift. How do you not wear a bathrobe to the grocery store? How do you not drink White Russians? It's just one of the best movies of all time, which is why all of us have it on our list.
I am never going to live this down. I'm the dude.
Yeah, the dude.
And that the whole bit with the bowling, with the I can't remember what song it is it's playing to, but when he's bowling with... Who is it? Is it not Susan Sarandon? Is it Susan Sarandon in the movie that he's doing the dance thing with?
Are we all blocking out everything now?
Oh my God. Who is the woman that's in it? It's not Susan Sarandon, is it? It's it's Julianne Moore.
Julianne Moore, thank you. I'm like, redhead that's not Amy Adams.
That's right, yeah, Julianne Moore. That whole dream sequence where they're doing the bowling is fantastic.
I'm sorry about this.
No, that's fine. You don't have to apologize. Okay. It's my fuck up. No one else's. Loz, you're number 7, please. Oh, did I do mine? No, I didn't do. I
don't think you did. You're so out of sorts.
I am. My number 8 is The Wrestler.
Great.
The one thing about this movie it's filmed with a color palette that is totally washed out. It almost feels like it's a documentary about a washed up wrestler. It's Mickey Rourke. I think he won the Oscar for this. If he didn't win an Oscar, he got a nomination, definitely. But it is so bleak, and there isn't really anything in it that is something to hang on to as there's a little bit of hope, which soon gets just brushed away. But it is just, he's never been better, I don't think, Mickey Rourke. He is perfect as this washed up, used to be a great 80s wrestler, used to be really big and successful. Now he's got heart troubles. He wears a hearing aid. He lives in a crappy little van, like a little caravan. Goes to these sports conventions where there's 5 or 6 people behind these desks just selling photographs for $10, to 10 people, maybe, if they're lucky. And it's so bleak. And it's left, I don't know if either of you have seen it, but it's left with this question at the end of, does he die or does he not? He's if he does, then he's going out the way he wants to go out. It's fantastic, but it's a bleak watch. Ali, have you seen it?
I have seen it. It's dark. Yeah. It's not the feel-good movie of the year.
Definitely not.
But it was nice to see him back acting again.
Yes.
When he seemingly had been just kind of wiped from the face of the earth. So it's nice to see Mickey Rourke back.
Yeah, and there was a great song by Bruce Springsteen as well, which was the theme to it as well. Loz, have you seen it?
No, I haven't actually.
No, I would recommend it because it's a great performance. And Marisa Tomei is in it as well. Plays a stripper who's
She's the best.
She is the best. So that for me is the best wrestling movie I think that there ever is. Please don't tell me there's no wrestling in The Big Lebowski, is there? Please tell me there's no wrestling. Oh dear. Okay, right. So, Ali, your number 7 was The Big Lebowski.
Yes.
Well done. Loz, what's your number 7?
Blades of Glory.
Oh, I love it.
It's just fun. Have you seen it, Pav?
You know what? I've never seen it.
You've not seen it. It's
this
fun.
Isn't going well for me.
It's just really, really silly. Lots of fun, very colourful, and you can't help but raise a smile. It's just very feel good, isn't it?
Yes, Will Ferrell. What's the guy's name?
Ben Stiller.
Napoleon Dynamite. John Heder, I think his name is. I've seen clips of it, but I've never seen it all the way through. So
it's not something that I've seen twice, but it's on my very watered down best top 10 sports movies that I have seen.
Okay. Ali, have you seen it?
I have.
And did you enjoy it?
It's goofy and it's funny. Listen, if Will Ferrell's in a movie, I'm seeing it. I'm probably seeing it 5, 6, 10 times. Really? Even if I don't love it, I'll see it a lot because I love him so much.
Yeah. Did you watch the Sherlock Holmes movie that you did?
With John C. Reilly?
Yeah. What did you think of that?
Not great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nope.
I was really surprised because I was looking forward to that. I thought it was going to be a really good romp, like a really good old-fashioned comedy romp, and it was just not very good at all.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen that Spirited. Was it Spirited? Is that the new one?
That also wasn't great. I didn't like it.
Really? I've not seen it yet. Is it so?
It was just weird. I didn't enjoy it. Like I put it on, I think, thinking, oh yay, like a new Christmas film. And obviously, I also love Will Ferrell, so I was expecting big things. And it just went a bit weird really, really quickly. It's not liked here in the UK at all. It's got terrible reviews across the board. And I tried to remain really, really open-minded about it. But no, I have to admit, I didn't even finish it.
Wow. Okay. Because you're a big fan of it, Ali, aren't you? I've heard you talk about it.
Good afternoon is all I will say to you. I loved it. I just, first of all, you put Will Ferrell with, what's his name? Ryan Reynolds?
Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
And a musical and Christmas. Oh my gosh. You have to go real far for me to not like that movie, but I really liked it. I also had a couple glasses of Prosecco.
Maybe that was it. You were very drunk.
I too. Good Lord. Yeah, I did enjoy it. I think more so than most people I've spoken with. So I think Luz, you are not the on the outskirts.
I know it's not Christmas now, but I am going to watch it and see which side I go for, because I love a good Christmas movie. It's just I don't know whether it works if you watch it out of the Christmas zone. I don't know.
Possibly not. Have you done a top 10 Christmas movies?
Yes, we have. Ali it's weird because Ali did our top 10 Christmas movies, and then the week later, Loz did our top 10 Christmas songs. So we have our Christmas girls here. How
the
cool
Christmas
is that?
correspondence. I love it.
There you go. Maybe next Christmas or the Christmas for the end of this year, we should do top 10 Santas. That might be a good one to do. And then you can both come back and do who your favorite like TV and movie Santas are.
Are there 10?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean,
I don't know what you mean. Santa's just Santa, surely. Like,
great point, Laz.
You can have just anybody that has put on a Santa costume, classed as a Santa, and who you're like. You could have Dan Aykroyd in Trading Places because he's like a big drunk Santa, isn't he? Anyway, I don't know what that's 11 months time.
Yeah.
Okay, my number 7 is Dodgeball.
Hey, that's my number 2.
Oh, that's your number 2.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, as a comedy movie, let alone whether it's a sports movie, this has just got so much packed into it. And one of my biggest regrets, apart from The Big Lebowski tonight, was on the top 10 movie quotes that we did a few weeks ago, I didn't put this one. Oh no, that's laughing. That shouldn't be that hard. It's going well. It's going. It's the quote where it's "You're about as much use as a cock-flavored lollipop." I can't believe I forgot that quote, because that is one of the greatest quotes in movie history.
I love it.
So yeah, so Rip Torn is fantastic in it. It is just ridiculous in so many ways, but for me, it's a fantastic, funny film, and Ben Stiller is great as the baddie. Vince Vaughn, I think, is his typical sort of wisecracking self, but yeah, I'm a massive fan of that. So Loz, why number 2?
Yeah, so I've seen Dodgeball a few times because I did love it so much. I love how they corral, these sort of down and out people and made them into superstars. And I love the humor in it. In fact, I don't think I really enjoyed any other films that Vince Vaughn was in until I watched this, and it kind of got me on side with him. I actually quite liked him after I watched this film. Yeah, just very, very funny and a really easy watch all round. So that is why I put that at number 2.
Okay. Ali?
I am floored at not liking Vince Vaughn before this. I mean, maybe it's just an American thing, or maybe it's just a Kevin and Bean thing. He used to come on the show, and he is so delightful and so clever and so quick and so funny. Old school, Wedding Crashers. Oh, I love Vince Vaughn, but I do love Dodgeball, but it didn't make my top 10.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, then, Ali, your number 6, then, please.
My number 6, I would be shocked if either of you had it, because it is so United States centric, because it's all about the Olympics and overcoming those damn Russians. And it is the true story of a coach named Herb Brooks that was the player turned coach that led the U.S. to the 1980 Miracle on Ice against the Russians in hockey. And it's called Miracle. It's from 2004. And I went to a very heavy hockey school. I went to Boston College. And in this movie, it's a lot of him trying to get players from really like rival colleges to come together for the common good of beating the Russians. But it's a true story, and it's beautiful, and it's inspiring, and it just, you're like, USA, USA at the end of it. It's really good. Although the sad thing is Herb Brooks died right before the movie came out in a tragic car accident. So yeah, Miracle.
That's my number 3.
That's a real bummer. And
that's my number 3.
Is it really?
No, it's not. No, I'm only joking.
Oh my God, I just got so happy. Whoa. That was sad.
If only it had been that, I could have maybe just pulled myself back up a little bit more.
Well, then you made me want to watch it. You've definitely made me want to watch it. I'm going to go and look it up.
It's inspiring. It's really good. And Kurt Russell plays Herb Brooks, the coach.
Oh,
so wow. Right?
If it's Kurt Russell,
yeah,
I'm in anyway.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Okay, Miracle. Okay, there's one to add to our list of things we have to watch. That's great. Go on then, Loz, your number 6.
The Mighty Ducks.
Right. Okay.
You don't sound that infused.
No, it's Emilio Estevez. This one, isn't it? This is the ice skating.
Yeah, it's just fun. I remember watching it when I was a kid, and my brother got quite into it, and because isn't it ice hockey?
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. So that was kind of the first introduction I had to ice hockey, because like obviously we don't do it here. So thinking it looked like, because ice skating on its own is really hard, but to be able to do hockey on skates, it blew me away. Yeah, it's just one of those movies from my childhood that stuck in my mind.
Right, because I've never seen it. I've never seen Mighty Ducks, and also it's got there was a TV series of that as well that came back a couple of years ago. I think, wasn't there, Ali?
On Netflix or something.
Something like that. I think.
Yeah.
Are you a Mighty Ducks fan?
Not really. And
Right.
I think, sadly, it was because I grew up an LA Kings fan. My parents got Kings season tickets in the late 60s. And I always equated the Mighty Ducks with Anaheim, which is, no one wants to be a Ducks
rival.
fan. So, yeah. Isn't that pathetic? I wouldn't even see a wonderful kids movie. That's how petty I am.
But so are the Mighty Ducks the Anaheim Ducks? Is that who they are?
Yeah, they were the Mighty Ducks, and now they're just the Ducks.
Ah, right. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's what sport is all about. It's all about you stick to what's your team, don't you? It's
sure.
Well, and also in America, like, sport is so massive. I know that we're big on our football here, but the difference is in America, like, you know, going to like either a basketball game or a hockey match or a baseball game, like it's an all day thing, and you go, the whole family goes, and it's like it's kind of a rite of passage, and you know, the whole family goes. Whereas here, it sounds really sexist, but it tends to be the men that go to the football. It's starting to move and shift a little bit. But other than football, we're not as passionate about sport in this country. I know some people are going to controversially say that I'm wrong about that, but sport is it's on a totally different level in America. Like, it's so big, and you just described there, like, even from when you were kids, it is drummed into you, like, who you support, and it's like like across many different sports, right? It's not just one kind of discipline. So I think that's what's really interesting about sports films for me, is that I reckon if I lived elsewhere, I'd probably be a lot more into them, for sure.
Fair enough. No, I can't disagree with that. I think you're right. I think they're trying to make, especially football, more of a family orientated thing in this country, from like the 70s and 80s, where it was just hooligans.
It's just yobs and hooligans.
It's just hooligans that went. Whereas it's more of a, because there's more money in it. If the family go, that's the thing. It makes it more of a viable thing financially. But okay, my number 6. As much as I said Rocky 3, and I liked all the Rocky films, Rocky 2 is my number 6 movie, mainly for the end. It's got one of the greatest endings of a movie. It's the rematch between Rocky Balboa and Apollo Creed, after Apollo Creed wins the first one on a split decision, I think, if I remember correctly. But this is the one where it gets, as usual, it gets to the final round. They've been hitting 6 sacks of shit out of each other, and it comes to the final sort of minute of the round, and they both hit each other, and in slow motion they both fall to the canvas, and then it's just, you can hear the referee 1, 2, and they're trying to both clamber up the ropes, and who can get up there, and Rocky just manages to get up there before he counts to 10 and wins, and he's the champion. And it's just fantastic. Oh, it still sends shivers down my spine when you watch it. It's just a great ending to the movie. Because it's also, I think that's when Rocky and his wife have their child, I think have their first child or whatever, and something's wrong. There's some medical things that go wrong, and she's very ill. And then she wakes up and she tells Rocky to win. And that's just, it just gets you. And the music starts and he runs down the street, and it's fantastic. So yeah, that's my number 6. So Ali, your number 5, please.
My number 5 is one of the greatest movies ever. Of all time.
Okay.
Laugh just thinking about it. It's Caddyshack.
Caddyshack.
It's just, I'm sorry, Chevy Chase, Rodney Dangerfield, Bill Murray as just the wackadoodle groundskeeper. It's got everything in it. And I remember when I saw it as a kid, you've got Chevy Chase kind of as this Lothario kind of guy. And I knew right then and there, that was the guy for me. The absolute scumbaggiest guy that you would never want in real life. I was like, that's him. That's good. But it's just got one-liners. It's got jokes. It's so dumb. And then it's got, as a kid, the greatest ending ever, when they're trying to get the gopher, and the gopher just keeps going through it, like getting out of every death-defying stunt of them trying to kill this gopher on the grounds. And just the Kenny Loggins song, the I'm All Right, and the gopher just doing this little move like this, dancing. Oh, Caddyshack, everybody.
It is a great movie. You ever seen it, Loz?
No, I've never seen it, but again, Ali has made me want to.
Oh, good.
Yeah, Chevy Chase is just fantastic. He is like the best golfer around, but he's like just so laid back about it. And it's got some fantastic jokes. Rodney Dangerfield, again, is just this obnoxious loudmouth. One of the clips I played earlier on of the fart was him, and he's just Rodney Dangerfield, isn't he? He's just fantastic. And Bill Murray again, like you say, is absolutely fantastic. And what's the old guy? Ted Knight.
Mm-hmm.
He's like the stuck-up golf. I mean, is he the captain of the golf club or something? But
isn't he the judge?
Judge, that's right.
Yeah, and he's just rich, and he's trying to, it's so good. And it's all about this guy named Danny who's trying to get in with them so they could pay for him. He's a caddy at their golf club, and he wants to go to school, and it's just, Caddyshack.
Yeah, I would thoroughly recommend it, Loz. It's just a great laugh. It's really, really good. Go on then, Loz, you're number 5.
Run, Fat Boy, Run.
Oh my God.
What is that?
So it's got Simon Pegg in it. And what I loved about this film is I think it was one of the first sports films that I watched, which was like British made. Because I think thinking about it, every single one of the, apart from maybe my number 4, is made in America. So Run Fat Boy Run, British made, filmed in England, about a really unfat dude who runs the marathon. And I think the reason it stuck with me was because it was around the time I was training to run the London Marathon myself. And I am not a runner by any stretch of the imagination. So I really empathized with his character. I loved everything that he went through, and I felt like I was going through it with him. And that I don't know if you remember the scene, Pav, if you've seen it, where he's talking to the wall. He's hit the wall, and the wall's talking back to him.
Yes.
It's a very lovely moment because everyone that runs a marathon does hit that wall, and just a really feel good film. Just very, very feel good. I think that's one of my films I've seen more than once.
Right. Yeah, Fandy Newton, Hank Azaria, Dylan Moran. It was sort of just after Shaun of the Dead, I think, when Simon Pegg blew up with Shaun of the Dead and stuff. It was one of the first films after that he made.
Yeah.
And it is really good. It is really funny. So there's one, Ali. There's one that you can maybe try and find.
I like it.
It is really good. I will put it in there. Yeah. Okay, my number 5. It's the only football/soccer movie I've got in my top 10, and it's Escape to Victory. Now I don't know if you ladies have ever heard of it. This is a movie from early mid-80s, and it stars Pele. Who we've just lost, but it's a war movie, but it's like where they're prisoners of war, so it's an escape movie basically. But a lot of the people that are in it are actual football players, like professional football players, and they're trying to be actors, which isn't good. But it's but it's got Michael Caine, Max von Sydow, I think that's how you say his name. I think so. Max von Sydow plays a German officer that wants to put a football match together between the inmates of this prison and some German officers, and it ends up becoming like a PR exercise. So they end up taking it to France, taking it to Paris, playing in front of thousands of people. So basically, they get picked really good German players and these very unfit English and Allied prisoner players, but Michael Caine has to whip him into shape. Sylvester Stallone's in it as well, and it is just the one thing about football movies is that the soccer is never great in soccer movies. You can tell that it's staged, you can tell that it's been rehearsed, and always, for me, it always looks really, really bad because you've got world-class players. I mean, these Bobby Moore, which is one of the greatest English players of all time. He was the one that lifted the World Cup for England when they won it in 1966. You've got Pelé, Osvaldo Ardiles, who is one of the greatest Argentinian players of all time. You've got a lot of English players that used to, I think they played for Ipswich Town. I don't know why they chose them. But they're all great players, so they can play the game. So all of the football stuff is just fantastic. And they have a match at the end against the Germans that is very Rocky style. The English or the Allied forces are not doing very well. Pele comes on, he gets thrown about and beaten by everybody, and then scores an amazing overhead kick, which is all in slow motion. It's fantastic.
I don't need to watch it now. Just listen to you.
No, you don't.
Explain it from
you don't. But
I
mean, like, Sylvester Stallone is great because he's somebody that wants to escape. He wants to get involved in the team. So keeps trying to get somehow, he wants to be the water boy, or he wants to be the physio, or in the end he becomes the goalkeeper. And the reason he becomes a goalkeeper is they say he's got the contacts to be able to get them out and make them escape. So that their actual goalkeeper has to have an injury, so they have to break his arm. So they take two planks out of the floor, rest his arm on the floor, and then like kick his arm in, which is it's really bad. Yeesh. But apart from that, it's a great movie. I mean, if you're not a soccer fan, I don't know whether you're gonna really enjoy it, because just the people that are in it, I recognize that guy. And obviously I watched it last week because it was on one of our streaming services, and just to watch Pele was just fantastic, because he is the OG. You can have Messi, you can have Ronaldo. I will put it on our Patreon video playlist. There is a great video where it says Pele did it first. And you've got all of these skills that a lot of people, Diego Maradona from the 80s and people from the 90s and people from today, that everyone go, my God, they're the greatest players ever. And it shows you these grainy black and white videos of Pele doing the exact same thing in the 60s and 70s. And it's all the skills that these people have all got. And if it wasn't for Pele, there wouldn't be Messi, there wouldn't be Ronaldo. So it had to be in there, and it's just a great film. So if you ever get a chance to see it, I would recommend it. And it's a great war film as well. It's a great escape movie film. So thoroughly recommend it.
That was your soccer TED Talk.
That was.
Wow.
Thank you very much, everybody, and good night.
Are you being paid by the publicist? Or?
I'm not. I'm not. This is not a sponsored spot, and at all. Although, if they want to send me a DVD or a Blu-ray of it, then they can, by all means.
They don't need to. Just listen to you.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Ali, your number 4, then, please.
My number 4 is a movie where Kevin Costner is a farmer who decides to build a baseball field in a cornfield, and he's greeted by all these stars of baseball past. And it's all about his relationship with his father. Oh. And probably one of the most misquoted movie lines, other than Luke, I am your father, is from this movie, where the voice comes as he's walking through the field, and it says, if you build it, and everyone thinks it says they will come. But it's not. It's if you build it, he will come. Mm-hmm. So it is such a beautiful movie. It tugs at your heartstrings at the end. Spoiler alert, when he sees his dad and he's like, hey, Dad, want to have a catch?
Oh, don't do it.
Oh, God. It's like the most blubbery, just sad movie, but beautiful movie moments. It's just a great movie. Field of Dreams.
It's my number 2. Just to let you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's without doubt. I don't know how many times I've seen this movie, and I don't know how many times I've wanted Kevin Costner's hair for a start in it. What amazing hair he's got in that. Now, I know I'm saying this from a position of a man that's got no hair, but his hair is just fantastic.
I've got a lot of hair, and I could still say he's got great hair.
Yeah. And he's just, I mean, I will admit, we're going into like our top 4 now. We're going into complete Kevin Costner territory now for me in my top 4, but Field of Dreams was in my top 10 greatest movies of all time.
Yeah,
it's just the soundtrack is just fantastic, and it's one of the greatest films ever, without a doubt. Completely agree. Loz, have you ever seen it?
I've never seen it. All I know about that film is the top 10 fact that I read out earlier about they had a drought and they had to water, and he's apparently standing on a plank at some point.
Yeah, no, you have to see it, Loz. It is just
it's great.
The bit at the end as well. Like I've said to people, I've said that I like Field of Dreams, and they'll say, "Oh, tell me what it's about," and you tell people what it's about, and they go, "Well, that sounds fucking ridiculous." Like old baseball players coming back to life. And I said, "You've just got to watch it. Just take all that out of your mind and just watch the movie, because it is just a beautiful, beautiful movie." Anyway, Loz, number 4.
My number 4 is Fighting with My Family. So this film was the first film I saw Florence Pugh in, and she plays a female wrestler. And I thought it was really inspiring. So I'm not a fan of wrestling. I really dislike wrestling. I find it absurd. And when I went to watch this film, I was thinking, oh, I'm really not going to like this, but it had so many good reviews, so I went anyway, and I ended up absolutely adoring it, because it's not really about wrestling. It's about her. It's actually about her relationship with her family, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful film. It's very funny as well, very, very funny. But there's I think that was kind of her film that really sort of shot her into the limelight.
That's a Stephen Merchant film, isn't it? I think
it is. Yeah. Written and filmed in the UK as well.
And The Rock's in that.
He is.
Yeah. Have you ever seen it, Allie?
I have. We had the guy that plays her father, Simon Pegg's friend.
Oh,
yes.
He was also in
Nick Frost.
Nick Frost, yes.
Yeah.
We had him on the show and talked to him about it. It was right after he had done the movie. So he had great, really funny stories about him growing up loving wrestling. But it's a delightful movie. It truly is.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
You'd recommend it, because I've never seen it.
I would. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I think
lovely.
you'd really like it. I think you'd really like it.
And is the Rock, I'm assuming, is just like a cameo sort of thing he's got in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, fair enough. I'll give it a go. My number 4 is the second Kevin Costner movie. It's Tin Cup. Ages ago, Loz, when we first started doing our radio thing on a Thursday night, I talked about how Kevin Costner eats hot dog sausages in tin cup.
Yeah.
I love the way he eats hot dog sausages. I'm not going to go through it again, because I went into detail. I did a TED talk that night, Ali, about the way he eats hot dog sausages.
Good Lord.
I just love it. I love the way he eats. I don't know why. There's something about that man. I just love Kevin Costner. But Tin Cup is one of those movies. It's a golf movie. And again, it's got all the usual tropes for a movie. It's someone that's down and out. He gets a chance to hit the heights, and he doesn't quite take it, but he still ends up winning at the end, even though he doesn't actually win. But it's Kevin Costner at the peak of his powers as a leading man. Don Johnson's in it, who's great. Rene Russo, Cheech Marin's in it as well. It's just a fantastic movie. I don't know if you ladies have seen it, Ali?
Mm-mm.
You've never seen it?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Nor have I.
It's got one of the greatest, like the final sort of act of it is fantastic, because he's a washed up golf pro that is playing out in the back sticks just at some practice range, giving people lessons for like $10 an hour. But he's like legendary in the golfing world as somebody that always, like, he's almost on the brink of being big, and then does something stupid that completely like blows his career. And he does the same kind of thing near the end. But I'm not going to say anything anymore, because
no spoilers.
No spoilers. It's a great movie. It's a great movie. Go on then, Ali. Your number 3, please.
My number 3 is a documentary from 1994 that was originally supposed to be a 30-minute like little TV thing on PBS out here, and it wound up being filmed over 5 years, 250 hours of footage of these 2 African-American high school students in Chicago and their dream of becoming professional basketball players. So you see their lives going through the education system. You see everything from racism to class to education to how they're dealing with their families, how they're dealing with everything, trying to make it into the NBA. Spoiler alert, neither one does. But it doesn't matter, because it is truly, I think it was my favorite movie when it came out that year. It is just, you're on the edge of your seat and you're glued, and you're watching 2 real live human beings going after all that they want in the world. And it's called Hoop Dreams, and it's beautiful. It's lovely. That's my number 3.
And is that available on, like,
I think you can watch it somewhere. Yeah. I hope you can find it. It's real good.
Okay. And what year was that? Sorry.
1994.
1994. Sorry, mid gulp. Sorry, I didn't mean to get you mid gulp there. That's okay. Okay. All right then. We'll give that a go. Hoop Dreams. Loz, have you heard of that one?
I haven't. No.
No.
I have to admit, you know, when you see these memes on social media where you go like Instagram versus reality, and you've got this amazing Instagram picture of this model in pants, and then the reality version of like a woman in her pants and her kids being sick on her shoulder. I feel a little bit like that with Allie and I, because Allie's talking about these amazing kind of documentary, like filmed over 5 years, and my number 3 is Happy Gilmore.
No, you did the right thing. You did the right thing. I hear you.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, what did you call the film? Hoop Dreams, something, Hoop Dreams.
It's close.
Hoop Dreams sounds a lot better film than Happy Gilmore, but Happy Gilmore was one of those films that, again, I think I tend to, when I think about like what my favorite films, I tend to go to films I watched when I was between the ages of about 5 and 15, because obviously they're your defining years, and a lot of these films defined us. And Happy Gilmore was just one of those films that for some reason in our household, it was on all of the time in the background. My brother really got into it. We're not golfers or anything like that in our family, but that was also my kind of introduction to Adam Sandler. And it's just a wacky film. It's a bit off the wall actually, but there was just something about it that captured our family and we adored it.
Yeah, it's a crazy film. It is. I'm not a big Adam Sandler fan. Are you, Ali? You an Adam Sandler fan?
I love the majority of movies growing up. I love dumb comedy. Adam Sandler's movies are dumb, and I like that. Yeah, he had a spate of movies for like a decade where every single one I was like, I love it. Yeah. And isn't this one the get in the hole?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, how it's one of the greatest lines of cinema, right?
Get in the hole.
That's right.
I like what Adam Sandler's turned into as well. So he's become a really serious actor, and I think he's really good. Like the last couple of serious films I saw him in, I was like, oh, this is what you're actually all about. And he unpeeled his layers, and there's actually a very, very good actor underneath all of those layers of riches, because isn't he one of the richest men in the world?
Oh, gobs of money.
Yeah. He's on Netflix money now, I think, isn't he?
Yeah.
So he's, different.
Well, he produces a lot of his own films too, so he's just raking it in.
Absolutely. Okay, my number 3 is the third one of my Kevin Costner trilogy. It's Bull Durham. You have to have Bull Durham in there. This to me is absolute peak Kevin Costner. He's sort of like, whereas Elvis is my musical, you know, if I had to with a man, it's Elvis. But with an actor, if I had to with an actor, it's Kevin Costner in Bull Durham. You know, the whole scene of him explaining, you know, what he believes to Susan Sarandon is fantastic. The comedy in the movie is great. Tim Robbins is fantastic as well. I would just, if you love Kevin Costner, that's the movie you got to see. I think that's the benchmark, really. Other of you girls, have you seen?
Yeah, I haven't.
Yeah, and what do you think?
Great movie.
Yeah,
great movie. Yep, start to finish. Great movie.
Excellent. That's wonderful. That's all I need to know. Ali, your number 2, then, please.
Well, I think Laws will be happy that it's not a documentary, although it could have been. It is a movie. Before I tell you what it was, I will tell you this. I went to see this movie with my friend Chris, and her and I have very similar styles of laughing. We sound like we're a seal being clubbed to death when we start really laughing. This movie, we didn't know what to do. We didn't know what to do with our hands because we were laughing so hard, hitting each other. We could not contain our seats because we were laughing so hard at this movie, to the point where when we left, there were this like little family standing there, and they said, we just wanted to see who was going to walk down the stairs and who the heck was laughing that hard. And I was like, oh God. Ugh. And the reason for laughing that hard is because Will Ferrell got together with John C. Reilly. Their best, other than Step Brothers, was them getting together for Talladega Nights, the ballad of Ricky Bobby. It is so stupid.
Yeah.
And nothing makes me laugh harder than some of the scenes in this movie. At them around the table doing the blessing of it is, oh, good Lord. And I know people that don't like this movie. And you know what? People. They're not for me. It's so good to me.
Yeah. Sacha Baron Cohen is fantastic in it as well.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Can I just ask you, Ellie, can you just hold that cap up again for me?
Oh, it's Ted Lasso. It is him.
You know what?
It's Ted Lasso. And then on the back, you know what it says? It's one of the lines. It says, how do you take your tea? Well, usually I take it right back to the counter because someone's made a horrible mistake. So, yeah. It's one of my favorite mugs. Oh, me too. Oh,
I got into it much later than everybody else. I only just finished watching all of the first few series, like a couple of weeks ago.
Oh my gosh, isn't it just brilliant?
Well, interestingly, because I was saying at the beginning, I'm not really into like watching sports stuff. So when my brother bumped into him, what's his name? Jason Segel? No, what's his
Sudeikis.
That's it, Jason Sudeikis. He bumped into him in Amsterdam, believe it or not. My brother lives in Amsterdam. And he sent a photo to me and I was like, oh yeah, that dude was in Horrible Bosses. And he was like, no, this is Ted Lasso. I was like, what's that? And you've got to watch it. So I watched it and then I was like, oh, you met Ted Lasso. Yeah. And
it's so much more than football or soccer.
Absolutely.
It's so much heart. And
it's just
my favorite show.
It's just beautiful. It's a lot about men's health. It's a lot about female empowerment. It's about relationships. It's about that guy who just turned into a complete arsehole at the end and watching him slowly turn and you don't realize until afterwards and then you watch it back and go, oh no,
you saw all the signs, right?
All the signs throughout, but you kind of didn't realize it. And it's just so good. I cannot wait for the new series. Anyway, sorry.
It's out sometime this year, isn't it? I think it's out sometime this year, the new series. I can't wait. Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's the best.
Absolutely. Okay, so Loz, your number 2 was Dodgeball. My number 2 was Field of Dreams. So before we actually say what our number 1s are, Ali, do you want to just give us a rundown from your 10 to 2? Are you able to do that? I should have warned you.
Threw it out.
And then Loz will do the same. Then I'll do the same, and then we'll tell her what our number 1s are.
Number
Ali,
10.
Go first? Oh no, you've
got
it.
Oh sure.
Ali
I'm
first.
sorry.
No.
Ali
You go
first.
for it. You go for it. It looked like you were looking for it.
No, number 10, The Bad News Bears. Number 9, The Endless Summer. Number 8, Karate Kid. Number 7, Big Lebowski. Have you heard of that one?
I have heard of it, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Number 6, Miracle. Number 5, Caddyshack. Number 4, Field of Dreams. Number 3, Hoop Dreams. Number 2, Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby.
Wonderful. Loz, your 10 to 2?
Number 10, Karate Kid. Number 9, Cool Runnings. Number 8, The Big Lebowski. Number 7, Blades of Glory. Number 6, The Mighty Ducks. Number 5, Run Fat Boy Run. Number 4, Fighting with My Family. Number 3, Happy Gilmore. And number 2, Dodgeball.
Lovely. And mine is number 10, Rocky 3. Number 9, Kingpin. 8, The Wrestler. 7, Dodgeball. 6, Rocky 2. 5, Escape to Victory. 4, Tin Cup. 3, Bull Durham. 2, Field of Dreams. So, Ali, what is your number 1 sports movie?
Interestingly enough, I think my number 1 will be on nobody's number 1 list, even watching this. And I get it, but I was raised watching this movie. It was a cult classic from 1977, but I was raised loving this movie to the point where my dad said, if somebody comes to our house that you want to marry, and they can't recite lines from Slapshot, I don't think he's going to be in this family. It is a hockey movie. It is brilliantly done. It's so dumb, but so funny. It's about a hockey team in Pennsylvania that stinks. And the mill is about to close. They're about to lose all of their sponsorships with a hockey team. So they decide, let's just start like pounding on each other, getting really vicious, all that. The whole thing turns around. The whole town wants to go see. It's like rooting for the underdog. You've got Paul Newman as the lead. Amazing. I'm not going to get too into it, but there are characters in it, these 3 brothers called the Hanson brothers, which are some of the funniest lines ever with them. There's a striptease in the movie on the ice. It is just, it's got everything. And I think my favorite part about this whole thing, because it's such a dude-centric cult classic guy movie written by a woman. And it blows people's minds when you're like, oh, you know that? It's one of my favorite movies, and I was raised on it, and I know most people weren't, so they may not have seen it, but go watch Slapshot. It's good.
I think I've seen it once, but a long time ago. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna need to watch it again. Yeah, definitely. Loz, have you seen it?
I haven't. No.
I'm gonna put that on my list without a doubt. I love Paul Newman. I think he's fantastic.
Yeah.
Go on then, Loz. You're number one.
Okay. I think a lot of people are going to go, oh, Loz, that's not a sports movie, including the two of y'all. But I'm 100% sure you've both seen it. It's Forrest Gump.
Okay.
Because he runs.
Two things. So he runs.
Yeah.
But he's also becomes an American.
Ping pong.
And also ping pong as well.
And ping pong. So there's three different things that he becomes an expert in within that film. And it's to do with sport. So I was like, I'm taking it.
Take it. I love it.
Forrest Gump is one of those films where I think I watched it several times when I was really young. And I haven't watched it as an actual fully fledged adult. And just talking about it's making me want to go back and watch it. And I really hope that I love it as much as I did.
No, it
back
still
then.
holds up. Yeah, it still holds up. That's a great
it's
movie.
been many years since I watched it, but what a good film, and still is used so much and referenced so much. And whenever I'm having a bit of a shit day or I'm second guessing myself, I do literally think, oh, Forrest Gump would just do it. Like, he wouldn't think about it. He'd just go do it. Just go do it. And it's just one of those beautiful films that just stays with you forever, deep rooted in my psyche, I think. So I know it's a bit of a cheat, but I've gone Forrest Gump.
It's fair enough. It's got sport in it. No, yeah, I agree. My number one, I've already had 3 Kevin Costner movies, so I might as well have 3 Rocky movies. It's the original Rocky is my number one. For all the reasons I said about all the other Rocky movies, they're all basically the same thing. He's down and out. He manages to turn it around and become the hero. But it's the fact that at the end, he doesn't win the big fight, but he wins the love of his life. So he's sort of like, he's become someone, although he's not won what he was supposed to win, which I think is a great thing. And it's one of the greatest last 20 minutes of a movie ever. And I will sit there and just watch that last 20 minutes, the boxing match. And his eye closes so much that he has to have it cut with a razor blade. You know, you got to open my eye, Mick. You got to open my eye. That's a terrible Sylvester Stallone impersonation. But
I felt like I was there.
You felt like, well, I mean, you've done Sylvester Stallone tonight as well. So I mean, we're all there. So there you go. So that's it. Let's whiz through a few of these honourable mentions. Lindsay Pananen said, "I absolutely adore The Replacements. Cheesy goodness through and through." Do you know what The Replacements is, Ali?
I know the band, The Replacements. I don't think I know The Replacements. No,
I don't know that one. I'll have to look that one up. At Die Hard Rosso said American Flyers, Tin Cup, $1 Million Baby, Warrior, and Draft Day. I'll be surprised if anyone has this on their list. Anna Nakorn Ratana Slusser, what a name. The Mighty Ducks movies and The Cutting Edge. David Bejer says Salute of the Jugger, aka Blood of Heroes, and the original Rollerball, best movies ever. Chris Waylenga, Stick It, 38% on Rotten Tomatoes and 6.3 on IMDb, but I love it. Jeff Bridges is fun in it. Vanessa Frey, Bend It Like Beckham. At This One, Samantha, Rocky, Happy Gilmore, and Dream Horse. Robin Kimbrell says Goal, A Dream Begins, and Goal, A Dream Continues, but my first favourite is Rocky. Rudy, almost all of them where the underdog is a little guy who perseveres. Lisa Buchanan, Rocky, and The Karate Kid, wax on, wax off. Dan Harper, if I was talking good old cheesy goodness and fun, Cool Runnings has to be in there. At Mickey La Harrison, Fever Pitch, Field of Dreams, Rocky, and $1 Million Arm. Janine Bender, Necessary Roughness with Scott Bakula. Tracy R. Majea, Rudy. Moonshine Kelly, Field of Dreams and League of Their Own. Robin C. Donart, The Cutting Edge. Rachel Davis, obviously Cool Runnings. Kiss the Lucky Egg. I feel like I should do that for that, yeah. George Casillas, A League of Their Own, and Remember the Titans have to be on there. Anna Cochran, Breaking Away. I love that movie. Oh, and for Ali, Bad News Bears. She says, have the best time, buddy. There you go. I'm assuming that's to you, Ali.
I love it.
Kim Mendes, Bull Durham and Field of Dreams. Stephanie Vrabel, Brian's Song. And Heidi Grande says, The Fighter, and one of my favourites, Heart Like a Wheel. There's loads there that I've never heard of, so I don't know whether you know any of those ones, Ali, but...
I knew a lot of those, and it's very funny. Cutting Edge was named a few times, but I struggled if I was going to put a movie called Ice Castles on the list, which is a movie about a skater who becomes blind, and she gets back into skating, and it's just... There's a song called Looking Through the Eyes of Love that Ice Castles is a wonderful movie, but I couldn't remember if I loved it or if it was just nostalgia that I remember as a kid singing that song and thinking it was great. But yeah, Cutting Edge and all those, like a figure skater gets together with a hockey player, blah, blah, blah. Then they decide that they're going to skate together and it's a magical thing. So it's kind of that whole genre of movies.
Right. It's weird you said Ice Castles because Jen Berg mentioned it and I obviously didn't copy it. And then they also mentioned the song as well.
Oh.
And somebody mentioned...
That's good.
Yeah, so it's weird.
Do you want to sing it right now?
I don't know it because they put it on YouTube and I listened to it and I thought, I don't know that song.
Please don't let this feeling end. It might not come again.
Oh, God.
And I want to remember. Oh. It's just so good.
This episode has been a roller coaster of emotions, I have to say. That's it. We've done it. Before we say our goodbyes, Loz, do you want to tell everybody how they can get in touch with us? Have you got all the info there?
Yeah, sure thing.
Excellent.
So you can find us on all of the social media channels at Top10pods. If you want to get in touch or send suggestions for episodes, you can email top10pods@hotmail.com. Our Patreon can be found at patreon.com/top10pods. There you'll find great rewards like bonus episodes, video playlists, and limited edition merchandise. You can even be a guest on your very own episode. Lastly, you can subscribe to us on YouTube, TikTok, and all podcast providers.
Thank you very much, Loz. And remember, I'll put the Patreon link for a cup of tea and a chat. Please, please, please. You will thank me later if you even spend the $3 or $5 or whatever it is 3 times a week. You get to spend time with, it's almost like family. That's what it is. It's almost like family. So I thoroughly recommend you do that. Ali, thank you so much. It's been lovely.
You.
Always has been lovely talking to you.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Loz.
Thank you. Lovely to meet you, Ali.
You too.
There you go. Thank you very much, everybody. Stay safe. Neil, keep your feet up. I meant to say to you, Ali, I don't know whether I've told you, he broke his toe as well. Now, you know,
on top of everything.
So he broke his knee.
Yeah.
Okay, in 2 places. And then a couple of days ago, as we're recording this, he went and was washing himself, apparently, slid and stubbed his toe and broke his toe. So he's not only, so on his left leg, he's got a knee broken in 2 places. On his right leg, his middle toe is broken. And I'll tell you what, I don't know whether he says that I can share the photo, but I've got the photo of his foot. I've never seen a big toe as big as his big toe.
As that.
But it's not the toe that was broken. It was his middle toe that was broken. It's amazing. It's a thing of wonder. Wow. It really is.
Have you thought about like an OnlyFans just for his feet?
It's worth it. I'm telling you.
Yeah, look into it.
Can make a fortune. But anyway, I was going to say, Neil, keep your feet up. Just get someone else to wash you or something. Just, you know.
Again,
please.
OnlyFans. Yeah.
He may never have to work again. Thank you very much, everybody. And let's go start the countdown.
10, 9.